It's the final day of the TJOmega automated review system, and TJ should be heading home from Tampa right about now. So before he gets back, let's break his biggest taboo, and we are going to talk about a third-party transformer. In this case, it is Toyworld Swamper. Yes, TJ's childhood headmaster was Skull Cruncher, and while Skull Smasher in the Titans Return line kind of scratched that itch, he needed something that really kind of felt like the toy he had as a kid, grown up to appropriate size for his age. So this is the result. This is what happens. So Swamper himself, very mean-looking crocodilus, though honestly, head is very stumpy for a crocodile, so he is far more into the alligator territory here, which is a little bit disappointing, defeats the character just a little bit, but is what it is. He's comprised of teal plastic as well as this nice magenta shade going through mostly the tail and then some of the legs and underside. Interestingly enough, well, at least something I noticed, the feet seem to have gone black, whereas in the original toy the front feet were white. But I believe the rear feet were also this kind of fuchsia magenta style color. So at least they match now. That's nice. A lot of paint went into creating these gray areas. Here, all the spines through here. As far as I can tell, there's only a few spots in here that are actual plastic done up in the gray. So a lot of paint work in the toy, as you'd expect from third party. A lot of little line details included too. A little bit of that pink going through here. And then a little bit of silver going through all of the feet. Where I see a lot of paint going on is, of course, the gun, where it seems like it's molded in the white and then everything else painted over, including that little bit of gold at the top. Kind of neat. It's a very involved-looking gun as a result. Then you've got little bits of exposed white plastic as well in the toy itself. You also have some translucent elements going on here. For instance, you have this piece on the head, which does look like, now that I look at it, it does look like it can flip up. It looks like a hinge, but I can't really get it to do anything, so I'm not going to worry about it. Nope, not going to try. On the other hand, this one does come up, I know that, and inside can seat what I guess is the replacement of a headmaster, Grax, which now looking at him, he's not a bad little guy. So, giving you a close-up here, he's kind of a happy little guy. You can see kind of a smile on his face. He's very happy to be here, wherever he is. I'm not sure he knows where he is. You're in the den of an enemy. TJ doesn't like third party. Escape now. He's still not home. But he doesn't come out too bad. He does have the bicep curling arms, but I can kind of forgive that because he's a headmaster with a ton of ball joints, which gives him a lot more posability than your Titan Master you can find at Walmart today, such as I would expect from a third-party item. So, that's very nice. I do kind of worry about ball joints like this kind of wearing down over time, so being very, very gingerly moving them around. He does have a little bit more involved transformation. I'm going to go ahead and show you that when I rotate his legs around, I have to rotate his legs around in order to properly transform his head mode, because that puts these tabs in an interlocking position so his legs can fold over and stay together. They'll stay together too well, but at least well enough to stay in head mode if you don't jostle anything. And then, yeah, he's a happy guy all around. So we'll put that head aside and we'll focus more on the crocodile himself. And I'll go ahead and take these cannons off so we can get a better look at what we got as far as playability on this thing. Well, no real articulation like a Croc through the midsection or tail or anything, but you do have a head whose mouth opens and closes, and guns installed in. I like that. It's a new feature that definitely wasn't on the G1 toy. It's appreciated here. You got motion in all of the hips, back and forward. So all that articulation is there. What would be elbows and knees on your standard creature or humanoid, those are there on both sides. Oh, actually no, this is a swivel. Apologize for that. I do know both sides do have a ball jointed ankle, so that's good. You also do have a little bit of a motion there around the ankle area. So plenty of little bits of articulation there, so his legs have plenty of function to them. Alright, so that out of the way, I think we need to see robot mode, and that's where this guy gets a wee bit interesting. So first off, we're going to go into Toyworld's robot mode, which involves, well, both robot modes kind of involve the same things going on. So hang on, go ahead and split the tail like so. And then, which is kind of a classic detail of the original toy. From there, there's a whole bunch of little panels here on a whole bunch of hinges that need to be flipped around, opened up, and then recompressed together. And there's more on this side. There's some that I accidentally folded in that you didn't even see the first time. Listen. That's a solid ratchet. I find a lot of third-party toys that actually do this, and it kind of does bug me. It's because, well, I don't know. I kind of like prefer if, you know, things are a little bit more solid than just a bunch of little panels hiding things. But, you know, they're not Takara engineers, so they do what they can do. All right, so for the feet, we need to pop these sections out. Quite tight on mine. Popping this out, rotate around. There's another foot. Then they need to be double hinged all the way under. And you can see, again, there's a lot of little hinges and swivels in order to get everything in the right spot. I'm going to go ahead and move the foot down like this. Should tuck in right there. It's kind of a groove section where you can slide the foot comfortably in to create a nice little heel spur. All right, so that done. All that nice and secure. We can go ahead and focus on the upper body now, where I'm going to have to do a lot of little fidgeting here. All right, so the arms kind of close around the section that hinges the head into place. And the head itself of the crocodile is kind of on this big, long, extra hinged point that we need to get apart. So we're going to have to slide this big section open, which will form his shoulders, which is actually kind of difficult. But you gotta get the head off, and then that gives you a little bit of separation. There. So slide over. Gives you enough room to do that. And now we got to slide over until you hear the click. It's a very tight piece. Like, it feels like I break it every time I do that, but so far so good. All right, so we wheel. Well, no, hang on, had it right. Getting ahead of myself. All right, it's a headmaster pun, I swear. Okay, so fold down like so, so that creates a nice solid piece in there in the front. Now here's the hands folding out like so, again with panels, but hey, it's a hand, so I kind of expect the paneling there. Croc legs in the back, we've got something to do with them, so we're just going to let them hang out for now. And then here we got to get the other hand out, which is another panel. Geez, this thing takes a long time to transform. I apologize, as I'm not versed in third-party transformation. I am doing my best. I swear I am. Okay, so that all out of the way, we can go ahead and plug the head into place. The socket's backwards, because of course it is when I'm recording. All right, and then neck on a tight ratchet there. That gets us to the new version of Skull Cruncher's robot mode as presented by Swampert. Unlike your classic G1 figure, Swampert kind of goes for a more modern aesthetic, where the Croc head actually makes up the chest, which is kind of a neat design. It's different, it's unique, and he still keeps some of the G1 elements like the big panel on the chest, and still, he looks the part, doesn't he? Yes, he does. I can take another look at that head, now that we have a little bit more of a reason to. He is so happy, isn't he? So happy. He keeps the G1 look of black visor and black helmet, which does make his face look a little bit bare. They've dolled him up a little bit with a bit of gold element there on the forehead, but for the most part, he's kind of simple in the head department. But hey, he's happy that way. Clearly he's happy that way, so we will let him be. So the arms themselves have a lot of play. I'll go ahead and admit there's more than one way you can do these, but this seems to be the natural point that it gets to when I transform it the way I transformed it. Can I rotate it around somewhere in order to get something a little bit more useful? Because the articulation is kind of limited on here. Here, we'll go ahead and do it this way. I usually prefer this for a different mode, but it works here because I want to get as much elbow motion as I can, and this provides me a little bit more. So, Swampert himself is doing a very nice job of bringing all of that teal up to the top, while all of the magenta kind of goes to his legs and forearms, bringing it down. And you get a little bit of white as well. It's a little bit diaper looking, but we'll forgive that because it is vintage and it's accurate to the original. I like the change-ups in the transformation. You know, it's nicer to have the arms come out of a massive piece of bulk, like the top of the Croc and the bottom side, rather than just the Croc arms folding out into the robot arms. It always felt a little bit small, a little bit thin. So this works far better. The toy himself proportioned extremely well. He looks brutish. He looks powerful. More importantly, he very much feels like the toy did from childhood. You know, because of course as a kid he's going to feel much bigger in your hand than he actually was. So this is a nice hit of nostalgia. And as you can see, quite a bit bigger. He's actually a little bit bigger than your standard Voyager these days, which is partially because third party always went to like classic style Voyager sizes, but also because, well, of course, budget's not what it used to be. So let's see, new details, plenty of gray still exposed. Again, little hits of gold striping around here. For the most part, he keeps it pretty much the same. Little dots of the same colors going on. He's got a lot more functions than this too, so we can enjoy a few more surprises out of him. I'm going to go ahead and go into articulation before I get into those. So the head has a ratchet joint in it, which gives it plenty of very stiff articulation. Universal shoulder motion, thanks to a swivel here and a hinge here. Elbows to the 90 degree, if you've got them assembled correctly. And then a wrist rotation there. Hips. Well, we got a waist rotation, and then nice hips moving outward. A little bit of a ratchet there. So, outward motion good, hips moving good. 2 joints to create each hip movement, and it actually does make a decent, solid-looking section. So that works. Oh, that knee. Oh, that ratchet. Full 360 rotation there at the thigh. Ankle tilt thanks to a little bit of hinge. Hope yours is nice and tight in order to help that. But you also have rocking feet on both sides thanks to ball joints, so plenty of motion in order to make your Swampert actually look and pose solidly. He has a ton of motion to him. The one thing about him is I wish his head didn't have such a tight mechanism to it. I wish it wasn't ratcheted because the headmaster's clip-ins aren't so great. His head does tend to kind of come apart in the back as you're manipulating it. So you have to try and grab onto his face as you turn his head, just so you don't rip any arms off accidentally. Speaking of which, who wants to do some of that? So just like the original toy, the pieces of his tail can become a weapon, though now it is not a club. Nope, he's gone better. We have a pair of swords instead. And this is fine. We can do this. Or we can take these parts off, get 2 sabers that way, and then come in and get these parts out, which, oh boy, I forgot these are hard stuck. These are really hard to flip out. There we go. And get extra sets of blades. 4 blades on this toy. 4 different swords. That's kind of cool. If I could get them all out, it'd be even cooler. I got them all out. So we can go ahead and just mount some of these things into his hands, but that's only part of the fun. The real fun comes when we find out that the back legs have a surprise. So you know how I said in the G1 toy his hands flipped out from underneath the Croc's hands? The front of the Croc legs actually became his hands. Well, he actually does have hands hidden in this mode too. So we can actually raise those up, bring those forward, and we can actually arm him with the extra weaponry, which gives you a 4-armed mode out of freaking nowhere. This is demented and certainly is not G1 accurate, but hey, it's definitely something cool that the toy can do that I did not expect. So, flipping those around, mounting him up, and now fully armed, full 4-armed blade mode. That is absolutely epic. That's a nice surprise and a nice way of tying in some G1 detail while also creating a new feature. So, playability. This is a big factor. Speaking of, there is another play factor, and my battery is running low, so I need to hurry up and demonstrate this. So, there's a few other things this toy can do. Well, one other thing this toy can do, and unfortunately, we have to start part forming in order to accomplish it. So, unfortunately, the hands have to come off and swap around in order to accommodate this. Trust me, it'll be worth it. So those go on. We have to pop these off as well. Okay, so go ahead and rotate those arms around. If you want to, there are spots right there on the side of the Croc's head where you can go ahead and replace the front Croc legs just so they have a place to go. Then we rotate the torso around, rotate the head around, and look, we have a classic G1 looking Swamper, now in full Skull Cruncher mode, with the panel up front, just like you were about to reveal the Headmaster's stats. You have a modern Toyworld inspired mode, and then you have the classic G1 mode, 2 robot modes for the price of 1, and a ton of weaponry. The swords are cool. I like that they found a way of enhancing the original G1 weapons. I think these hand cannons are absolutely awesome, though. They are big, beefy, very powerful looking. Yeah, that's the kind of Decepticon I can get behind, even though he's not technically a Decepticon. Trademark, Hasbro Incorporated. So, that is Toyworld Swamper. Full of features, I will give him that. Like, I will admit, I share TJ's sentiment of third party is very expensive for what it is, and sometimes it's only moderately better than the retail thing you get. But Swamper does have a lot of advantages over, say, Skull Cruncher. Size, very solid design, and a lot of play features. All the weapons from the tail, the 4-armed mode, the 2 different robot modes, the articulated headmaster. This guy's full of surprises. Now, I won't preach to you about price on third party. It's a personal preference. If it's worth it to you, then the price is worthwhile. That is what I will leave it at. I didn't pay full price for this. Thank you to the guy who cut me a nice deal on the figure, because this is a really, really good toy. I will fully admit. And yeah, it does fulfill the childhood need for a properly sized Skull Cruncher. It's probably going to be a very rare dip into third party. Don't expect this to be a thing, though. And with that out of the way, TJ should be home any minute now. Please don't tell him what we've been reviewing. He's not going to be happy when he finds out.
Wow.